My son. I would tell you his name, but according to statistics, you will eventually learn it when it becomes the next hashtag. At night, I sneak him into our bed. His father, who is a heavy sleeper, is against co-sleeping. He doesn't really understand how watching our son sleeping behind bars triggers my anxiety. So on nights when it feels like the air in my room is too thick to carry my prayers to the sky, I sneak my baby into our bed. I inhale the scent of mercy in his curls, admiring the way each coil surrenders to the stubbornness of his own texture. Surely there's a lesson in his patterns. I silently vow to never cut his hair. Even in the darkness of my room, I can make out the dents in his cheeks, his dimples. I have them memorized. If ever there comes a day in which I have to identify his body and they haven't left much for me, I can hear the echoes in those dents from any location. I will know that's my baby. To some, this might sound a bit gruesome. But let's be honest, we know how this goes. As of late, the only lullaby my baby knows is the sweet melodies of tear gas and chanting sounds of Black Lives Matter. I tuck his tiny head into the nook of my elbow. He moves for a second, then sticks his thumb into his mouth, and he's back into his peaceful sleep. I smile. I imagine this was his favorite position in my uterus, and suddenly I'm wondering if he is homesick. If only he knew. If it were scientifically possible, I would shelter him in the depths of my womb for as long as possible. I would hide him in my temple as long as needed. But even my body isn't strong enough to keep a black man sedated. I rest my lips upon his forehead. This is my apology in advance for failing him. On nights when my anxiety is feeling worthy, it questions me like, is it better to have loved and lost than to have never birthed a black boy at all? And I am ashamed to admit that I don't know. I am ashamed to admit that there have been nights when I have pleaded with his skin to freeze as it is, do not become any more shades darker, because I won't be able to protect him. I am ashamed to admit at his birth, I took note of the color of his ear, because grandma said there's telling in how dark your baby will be, depending on the color of his ears. And I just wanted to see if I could prophesize how many years will he belong to me. You know what they say. The lighter the skin, the longer he lives. Or is it the darker the skin, the earlier the lynching? Lately, I have been sneaking my son into our bed because his father is against co-sleeping. He doesn't understand. My belly echoes for that from the absence of our son's body. My heart aches as each beat awaits his permission to break, because it knows the probability of some privileged man blowing the trumpet on my son's life is rather high. And this triggers my anxiety. This sends my mind speeding, wondering, will he have enough time to reach his milestones? Will he graduate kindergarten? Will I capture pictures of his toothless smiles? Will he have a chance to fall in love? Will he have a chance to fall in love? Will there still be women who are brave enough to love a black man? Because honestly, is it better to have loved and lost than to have never loved a black man at all? To some, this might sound a bit gruesome, but as of late, my black son doesn't have the luxury of counting sheep to sleep. Instead, he counts the numbers of days we've been trying to convince others that his life matters. On nights like these, when I struggle to calm the fear in my chest, I bail my sleeping black boy out of his crib. I lay him between the wall and my body. I shield him from his father in the world. I caress the handmade rosary beads on his tiny wrist, remembering how each bead holds a prayer within. I count. 1, Lord, return him home whenever he leaves. 2, Lord, heal him if ever he bleeds. 3, protect him whenever he needs. 4, hear him if ever he cries. 5, let him not be a threat in the white man's eyes. 6, when pinned down, let him always rise. 7, always bring him back home. 8, Lord, always bring him back home. 9, Lord, always bring him back home. 10, Lord, always bring him back.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sit Down with Sachi. Um, Unfortunately, usually I have a guest on my show, and today I don't because I want to discuss something that is really touching and that's something that's going on right now in this world in society, and which is racism. I know half of y'all have seen the videos that have been around social media of George getting killed by the police officer. and it affects a lot of African American people in this world. But I guess we are making changes now by sticking together and protesting and showing America what we are worth and what we are about. Being black in the United States is not an easy thing. We're always judged by our color. We're always judged by the way people look at us. We're always judged by the way we dress. We always judge anywhere we go, and we are the most target people in this United States. We're judged by every type of race. It's always a black person being judged or a black person being looked at different because of their skin color, and that is not equal. That is not equal rights situation that we're living in. After all these years, things should never be like this. Like, why do we have to tell our children to watch out for the police, or to, when they're going to certain stores, you're probably going to be followed because you're black, or if you go for a certain job, you're not going to get it because you're black or because of your name. And that's not a good feeling. Like, a lot of us experience racism. Even myself, I experienced a lot of racism to a point where I felt like it was in a mute situation, where I feel like it wasn't being racism. It was just the way they are, and I have to accept it. And I realized, no, I don't have to accept it. I shouldn't have to feel like I'm being judged because of the way I look, or the way I'm dressed, or the way I talk. I have a daughter myself, and I would hate for my daughter to be getting raised in this world where she's going to be judged by the way she looks. And I have to explain to her why she's being judged like that. That's unfair, and things need to be changed, and things need to be changed now. We need to have equal rights. So I applaud all the protesters out there, everybody that is standing up for Black community, as we should. That being said, there's other races that feel like they shouldn't stand up for us, or they shouldn't protest, or this whole thing is unnecessary. And it sucks because from what I remember, when Junior got killed in the Bronx, a lot of Black people stood up for justice for him. A lot of Black people went out there and showed their support. A lot of Black people posted Junior up to a point where he was able to get justice. So why is that we're being judged or being called animals because we're out there looting and doing other stuff, knowing that when other races go through stuff like that, Black people stand up and we are there for them. But we're animals when we are looting. Why is that? We've been silent. We've been trying to do this whole thing in the right way. We protest peacefully. It didn't work. We spoke up peacefully. It didn't work. So I guess being looters and messing things up, I guess that hurts more. Because now we are starting to see change. And things are changing little by little. Me, as an African living in the United States, I experienced a lot of racism. I experienced racism where I walked in a store and I was being followed. Why am I being followed? Because I'm Black? Why am I being followed? Because I can afford to buy stuff? Why am I being followed? But I let it go because I felt like that's how society is. How can I fight this? It's impossible. Because that's how racism is something that you're raised in. But it's something that it's in you. No matter how much you try to hide it, some people hide theirs very well, but a lot of people don't know how to hide theirs. There's a lot of times at stores that I've been at where every time a Black person walk in, it was a whole different atmosphere. They felt like they had to be watched, or they felt like they had to follow them, or they felt like, they have to be extra careful. Why is that? We're not animals. We're not gonna go and attack you if you didn't do nothing to us. Like, even with my cousin, like, one time she was working at a nanny job and she was going into the building. It was a white building. And the lady actually went inside the building and closed the door because she wanted my cousin to press the bell to get in the building. Why is that? Why is it that she can't live in that building too? Because she's Black, she can't afford to live in that building? How did she know she didn't have keys to that building? And it sucks because she was being judged by her color. There are people posting up saying, somebody post up saying, burning stuff, is that necessary? Yes, it's necessary. To the extreme, okay, that's too much. But it's necessary to burn stuff. It's necessary to go out and be angry and put your frustration out there, because this stuff just keep going and going and going and going and it's not stopping. How would you feel walking somewhere knowing that you're being judged because of your color? It doesn't feel good. It does not feel good at all. It does not feel good. And it sucks that we had to still be sitting here talking about this situation with you guys, with the world, with our family, with our kids. It needs to be a change, and it needs to be a change now. I'm really trying to hold back because I don't want to get emotional. But yeah, there are places you go to, and we talk about supporting these. Like, we're upset because these brands or these stores are getting messed up. But there's some of these stores that you won't be able to get a job because you're black. They won't even hire you because you're a black person. Or then maybe they'll probably have two black person working at their job because they don't want to seem like they're racist or they're buyers. So for y'all to be like, oh, some people are so angry, like, and I get upset because as an African, it's like, if you have friends that are not black, why are they not supporting you? Because those are not your friends, technically. I feel like this showed you who your real friends are and who's there for you. Because this, if this is going on, this is your problem, this should be their problem too. And I applaud everybody that's out there doing their thing, like, honestly. Because we have to stand together. If black people stand together in this country, we're undefeated. We could change a whole bunch of stuff. With our money, we could hit them hard in their pockets. Because half of these communities, they are rich, they get richer and richer because of our money, because of what we're buying from them. If we stop shopping at certain these stores, they will close. If we stop doing certain things, like, for example, like supporting, like, why we need to support ourselves, matter of fact. We need to start supporting black businesses. Because it's showing us America is not for us. They're for the white people. They're the one that is gaining and we are losing. Now, when 9/11 happened, Muslims were being judged in this country. When you go somewhere and you have a scarf on, you're being judged. People are looking at you weird. Why is that? Because all Muslims are attackers. And that's the same thing that's going on with black community. We are all animals. That's what they're saying. But we're not. We're better than that. We're educated. Instead of people sitting there complaining about things that are going on, why don't y'all make a difference too? Why don't y'all go out there and protest with us? Why is these cops killing us? Why we have to tell kids, when you see an officer, when they pull up on you, put your hands up? Why? It doesn't make no sense to me. And we are tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being judged because of my color. I'm tired of going inside of a cab. I went inside of a cab and the cab driver asked me if I was African or if I was black. And I told him I was African. He's okay, no problem. And he charged me regular price that he would charge me. Before, when I got in the cab, he told me a different price. But before we got to my location, when he figured out I was African, I was an African American, he gave me a different price. He charged me the regular price for the ride. Why? What makes a difference? We're all human. We all come from the same DNA. Nobody in this world is better than anybody. We're all going to die one day and go underneath the same ground. Rich or poor. Famous or not. So as humanity, we need to stick together. We need to stop this violence of cops killing us every single day. I'm afraid for my brother's life. I'm afraid for my cousin's lives. I'm afraid for my own lives. And it shouldn't be like that. When you leave the house, you pray every day that you make it back home. Because a lot of us don't make it back home. Because a lot of us are getting killed.